What is going on, nation? It is your boy C-Ton, coach of your Lehigh Valley Phantoms, bringing you our PWC Season 7. Ooh, baby, that feels good to say. Week 1, Team Builder against Destin, coach of the Mobile Bewears. If you guys remember correctly, we played Destin in the quarterfinals of last season, and he eliminated us because he's an asshole. But he hasn't beaten us in the regular season yet. I think we're 4-0 or 5-0 against him in the regular season. So hopefully we can continue that trend. If you guys forgot about my team, here we are. But without further ado, I'm going to go over what I'm expecting from Destin in this battle, and then I'll go over what I'm bringing to counteract what I'm expecting. So this is about the first 6 are what I'm most afraid of, that I think are most likely going to come. I think this wheezing is going to 100% come because it's a phenomenal defensive check to a lot of my offense. I could see Stockpile being a Z move, so it could also be Normalium Z Stockpile in order to boost itself up, and then after it takes a little bit of chip damage, it can just Z Stockpile and heal that right off. So I could see that being a set. I could also see it being Z Haze with Icium Z because I have a lot of setup sweepers, primarily in Celesteela and in Scolipede. So this wheezing, 100% certain is coming. Next up, we are expecting Circuitry. I have Psychium on here, but it can very easily be switched out for, or not Rhenium, Waternium, and Rain Dance to pair with the Mega Swampert, which I think has potential to come. But I think a speed boosting Circuitry up, and not that, I think it's going to be Tailclaw. Because I think this is the only coverage he really needs to break through my team at +3. Or so he thinks. But yeah, I mean, we're expecting the Circuitry to be coming. 100% Klefki is coming. I could see this being a Damp Rock user, as I mentioned in the nickname, and instead of Light Clay, it would be obviously Damp Rock. I think Light Clay Reflect is really good against my team, but it could also be the likes of Rain Dance, Damp Rock for Prankster Swampert. At team preview, I'm going to have a good idea of what his team is. These are the mods that I think have the best matchup. The first 6 especially, and then the last 3 I can see being sprinkled in with some team building. But again, once we get to team preview, we're going to know exactly what his team is, because there isn't really that much he can bring. A lot of his team is kind of shut down at the door when it comes to prep against my squad. But yeah, we have Klefki, which is definitely going to be becoming physically defensive, because again, I'm primarily physically offensive, and Klefki is another good answer. Spikes can also very easily be switched with Magnet Rise, but I think he is going to be aware of the fact that I know Magnet Rise is a thing and never really click Earthquake and just expect him to go for Magnet Rise. So I could see him leaving that on the bench for the likes of this coverage. T-Wave can also probably be switched out for something else. This is just quick thoughts on what I think he will bring. Choice Scarf Mienshao, definitely coming. This thing has a really good match against my team as well. I have a couple things that work pretty well against it. Instead of Poison Jab, it'll probably be Stone Edge. Sorry, I'm figuring these things out as we're going, because I just realized this set doesn't really touch Scolipede at all except for knockoff. And I'm a Z Crystal Scolipede, spoiler alert, so it won't even be breaking sub, I don't think. If I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure I EV'd it for that. Yeah, I think the Scarf Mienshao comes in, clicks U-turn a lot, and high jump kick once Scolipede gets low. So I wanted to... I'm pretty sure this is coming. Regenerator can very easily be switched for Reckless, but I was talking to him in the off-season, while we were drafting, and I told him that I primarily felt Regenerator was more beneficial for Mienshao, because obviously Reckless lets you hit a lot harder, but if the common Protect tech is run against you, Regenerator essentially makes that Protect non-existent. So anyway, Mienshao I think is a solid bring. This Superior, I really don't think... I think it should come, especially if he does bring a rain mode of the team. I obviously have mons that can break through it, but Superior can come in on a lot of my team and force a switch and get up an easy substitute. If this superior does come, I think it is likely to be sub Leech Seed or sub Reflect with Light Clay. Sorry, I'm saying a lot. The only issue is with Rain offense, he's limiting his output with Hidden Power Fire, which is the only way to touch Celesteela. So that's kind of why I'm not necessarily certain that this is going to come. I think it's a pretty solid bring all in all, but I think this is probably the most likely of the front 6 that will be left on the bench, probably for Mega Swampert to be filled in that spot. But yeah, that's the superior set I'd most likely be expecting, and it would probably be leftovers. I'm saying so much. What the fuck is wrong with me? Tapu Fini next. Just super bulky. Similar to Weezing, it's a really good defensive check to my offense, and I think it has a really strong matchup. Well, it's not necessarily strong, but I think it's strong enough to make it worth coming over the rest of his team. In theory testing, a couple people suggested that he might bring a Choice Scarf variant. I'm not really concerned about that because I have a Scolipede that threatens this thing out immediately. It could be the Kabia. Yeah, the Kabia berry to resist the Poison Stab. But I think if it does come, it'll most likely be just a super bulky set with either leftovers or this Kabia berry. Swampert, I kind of went over. He has a couple options to set Rain, and I don't think Swampert's that great against my team personally, but he might have the first week excitement, like to try to get his Swampert to come in and do some work. I think it's kind of an iffy bring, but I think it has some potential in the matchup. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what on my team would like capitalize, because Scolipede will outspeed after 1 Protect. Zoroark I can disguise as anything. My Gallade can probably eat a hit. Yeah, I don't necessarily think this is the greatest spring, because then I also have Gardevoir that can come in and trade Swift Swim. But yeah, this very well could come. And the last 2, I don't think either are really coming, but if they do come, it'll be some sort of tech along these lines of getting Gravity up and going for Earthquake spam. Because Celesteela comes in on Lando T all day long. Like, it literally could care less about Lando T. Unless Gravity is up. He could also bring his own Gravity Lando, but I think he's wasting turns at that point. It's also wasting a move slot. He could bring this as kind of U-turn Vortex with Mienshao as well. That could be a cool pair. But those are what I'm most expecting from Destin. You'll see the rest of his team and my team in one moment. Oh, just kidding. I am on the wrong team. Let me switch over to this one. Okay, so now you can see my team and Destin's team. So right off the bat, we're bringing both Gardevoir and Gallade because we're the realist. Gardevoir is coming as an Assault Vest user, and it's super, super bulky. I'll pull up a couple of the calcs real quick. I have enough investment to take on Salazzle. It's not really a role in my favor to get the 2 at KO, but I think it's pretty nice to be able to take 1 because he'll probably be feeling confident that he'll be able to one-shot me. So I have a lot of bulk in there, and obviously Psychic does 10 jillion. And then the other thing that I love this Gardevoir set for is Xurkitree. This is Xurkitree, and this is Xurkitree at +3. Like, we're still living. And then we get off the chip damage we need with Moonblast or Psychic to be able to take it out with an Ice Shard from one of our 2 Ice Shard users. So that is the primary reason we're doing that. The Assault Vest Spring, I feel, is very strong. It also gives me a good switch into, not a good switch in, but a pseudo switch in to Weezing if I'm like kind of low and he hasn't figured out how bulky I am, and he tries to take me out with Weezing. That's one way I can get rid of that Weezing. That's a huge threat to the rest of my team. Excuse his ugly ass color scheme with pink and red. The red indicates his Z Crystal users. Weezing is primarily a support Z user and is primarily used to heal itself up. Lando T is obviously a huge threat under the right circumstances. I have 2 Ice Sharders though, so I'm not at all concerned about him setting up. He might get through my 2 Ice Mons if he does set up, but I mean, I'm not super concerned about it. Superior, we mentioned in the team builder. I don't think Noivern has any business coming to this match at all. But other than that, I also don't think Claydol really should come. Like I said, the only way I think Claydol comes is if it is as a kind of suicide lead type deal. But I'd imagine he leads Scarf Mienshao, because Scarf Mienshao is super good against my team. It can usually just fire off high jump kicks, but I have some ways around this through the likes of primarily my Scolipede in the back. But anyway, I got super sidetracked. Coverage, Moonblast, Energy Ball, Psychic, Hidden Power, Ice. Hidden Power, Ice is in case the Landorus and Noivern do come, and I have Swift Swim so I can outspeed them. Swift Swim is, as you can see, I don't have enough speed to outspeed Mega Swampert if he's like actually running an offensive Mega Swampert. So like if he brings Adamant max speed, he'll outspeed me pretty clearly with Swift Swim. It's more or less for the bluff, because if he sees me trace Swift Swim off of him, he'll assume that I evade my Mega Gardevoir to outspeed any form of Swampert. So he'll be second guessing that, and he will switch out, and I can obviously capitalize on that from there. Moonblast, General Stab with Psychic, because it hits pretty much everything on his team. I don't really have a way to hit Klefki, but I can always make doubles around that if he reveals Klefki to be his primary switch-in. Also, any chip damage off on Klefki is nice, because its only form of recovery is leftovers. So the quicker Klefki goes down, the quicker I get my free W. But yeah, Salazzle, like I mentioned, I can take a hit from Salazzle. Superior gives me another decent check to that. But yeah, that's our Gardevoir. It's really stupid that you can have a male Gardevoir, so like I have to go in and change it to female every time, so that way I can have Phil and Nail. But whatever. Next up, we got our Mega Gallade. We're rocking a super bulky set this week. We have 248 HP and 80 SPDF with an Impish nature, making sure that we are not 3-hit KO'd by Mienshao's high jump kicks. If he does get rid of my Scolipede, high jump kick spam is a huge issue for my team. So being able to have this kind of pseudo check to it, rocking the Psycho Cut, Bulk Up, Wish and Protect. Ooh, something I just noticed is another Mon that could come. Let's switch over to this. Let's change things. This is super unprofessional. I think this is how you spell this Pokemon's name. Is Salazzle. Salazzle buries this team with like a Focus Sash and just Sludge Wave, Fire Blast, Nasty Blast. That's the only coverage the thing needs. This thing could actually be a little bit of an issue. As long as it doesn't get to +2 though, Gardevoir should be able to take a hit though and revenge it. So hopefully we can work around that. Gallade can probably take a hit as well. And then we can pick it off with Ice Shard. Never mind, we have Ice Shard pressure. I'm not concerned about it anymore. Sorry, I just got a little bit distracted and a little bit scared of that. But I think with our Ice Shard pressures, we'll be okay. Anyway, back to the build. This build is really cool because if I can get up a Bulk Up, he doesn't really have anything that can break through this thing. Psycho Cut hits everything on his team. Klefki obviously doesn't take a whole lot, but I can also Bulk Up all over Klefki. So yeah, really cool tech. It allows me to take hits from Mega Swampert easier as well. And Psycho Cut blows through the majority of his team aside from Claydol. But Claydol, again, doesn't really have any business being in this match. So that's our Gallade set. Rocking 292 speed. I believe it's for Circuitry. To be able to outspeed any form of Circuitry. Also, the speed we have on Gardevoir is to outspeed a minimum speed creeping Tapu Fini. Last season, I revealed what my speed tier was for Tapu Fini, so I bumped it up a little bit. I think I moved it up 8 points further than what I normally do, just to make sure I outspeed. So that's why I have the 210 speed there. Next up, we got our Choice Scarfed Weavile. Basically, if I get any chip damage off on Mienshao, I one-shot it with Icicle Crash. and I also outspeed Scarf Mienshao. It allows me to outspeed +1 Circuitry after like a Rain Dance or a Hypnosis. Additionally, I outspeed the entirety of his team unless he's choice Scarf Salazzle for whatever reason. If Mega Swampert is in, I obviously need to work around that. That's a pretty big issue, but I think my defensive Gallade will be a pretty good switch into that. Or if I have to sack something off, I can go into the Gardevoir that we mentioned earlier. Sorry, this recording is really long. I'll try to like speed it up a little bit. But playing Destin is always interesting because I put a lot of pressure on myself. But anyway, Ice coverage, as you can see, does a lot to his team. He has three switch-ins, I guess, in Tapu Fini, Klefki, and Weezing, which in full Fizdef form can kind of take hits. Weezing's taking about 25%, but with Black Sludge, that's obviously 13%. Or basic math, 19%. But yeah, I think we can chip it down. Knockoff is going to be really nice to get rid of the leftovers on those Mons. And just really big damage being delivered. That's the big reason I think that all three of them could come to this battle, the Tapu Fini, Klefki, and Weezing, is because he needs ice switch-ins with his team. Because looking at it, Swampert is weak to Freeze Dry and neutral to ice. Claydol weak to ice, weak to ice, weak to ice. Salazzle, frail as shit. Noivern weak to ice. Mienshao, frail as shit. Circuitry, frail as shit. Like, it can pretty easily be worn down with ice coverage. Which leads me to our Mamoswine. Thick. Rocking 244 speed to outspeed whatchamacallit, Adamant, Swampert out of the rain. I think it only needs 240. So why did I put 244? Fuck. Maybe for Klefki? I don't remember why I put 244. But we're at 244 speed. 252 attack, and then the rest are thrown into HP because easy life. Earthquake, Icicle Crash, Ice Shroud, exact same reason as Weavile, doesn't really have switch-ins. And then Freeze Dry is to try to catch Mamo if he reveals a bulky Mamo as his switch-in, or not Mamo, bulky Swampert as his switch into this. Super straightforward set, rocking that thickness. And next up we got Liberty. We got a defensive Celesteela this week with Earthquake, Giga Drain, Heavy Slam, and Protect. Giga Drain, Swampert. Earthquake is pretty good general stab. This EV spread allows us to take a Thunderbolt from Circuitry, not at +3, but a Thunderbolt from Circuitry, and then revenge it. Well, not revenge, but get it in range of Ice Shard from Weavile or Mamo. So keeping them around for Ice Shard pressure is really nice for Salazzle sashes and Circuitry pickoffs. But Heavy Slam is really good against this team, and then we just brought a super bulky set against him. Protect is for Mienshao locking itself into High Jump Kick because that's the only thing he can really do to damage me. But super straightforward Celesteela set this week. Not really doing too much offensively, but I think Heavy Slam can still chip away at his team. And lastly, what I think is going to pretty much clean sweep him is our sub SD Scolipede. This set doesn't touch everything on his team, but if Rain is up, I can live subs from Weezing and then get up Swords Dances. Unless he brings Phase in some way, I think this is literally going to run through his team. If I bring Scolipede in on Tapu Fini, no way a Tapu Fini is staying in on a Scolipede. So that's a free sub or a free SD, and I can just set up pretty quickly. So it could get out of hand. Klefki with T-Wave could be a little bit annoying, but at +3, I'm pretty sure I'm going to outspeed the rest of his team. But yeah, coverage, pretty straightforward. Aqua Tail is really nice for in the rain. And then Mega Horn is to just use General Stab. I didn't want to use Poison Jab because, I don't know. I don't remember why I didn't use Poison Jab, but there was a reason I didn't want to use Poison Jab. But this Scolipede can put in a ton of work at 310 speed, so after one speed boost, I'm outspeeding Scarflando T. But yeah, I mean, this is our team. Let me know who you guys think is going to put in the most work this week. Let me know if there are any sets that you feel I should have brought over some of these sets. I'm looking to learn, and good luck to Destin, and until the battle, peace.